if the timer, I don't know. What the heck? Nothing. Oh, there we go. Okay, sick.
You should point your mic up, the green light up.
Up?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just. There we go. Okay. Welcome to the first episode of Gay Time. And you already spilled yourself. Okay, sick.
Introductions.
Yeah.
My introduction, which you wouldn't have been able to see, is that I just opened a sparkling water and spilled it almost on the mic that I'm wearing.
Yeah, so today's episode topic is going to be about introductions. So I thought for the first episode of Gay Time, it would be no better to bring the first person I met at the school, Joseph Rage.
I have a pretty great track record of introductions.
And I have a track record of terrible introductions, especially at the school.
I meant mine are terrible, just
okay.
in a great way.
Well, okay, I guess to start off, let's talk about first how we met, and then we can get into introductions, and our opinions on them.
Do you want to give each person's perspective?
Yeah, you can go first. How did your perspective on me?
So here's a great introduction. Our mutual roommate Jude Halpin. We had this group chat fired up before our first quarter at JP Catholic, and there was some activity on it. We hopped on a couple FaceTime calls, but you can't really get a sense of the person that you're going to be rooming with on a call like that. So I walk into the Latitude apartment. The first person I meet is Jude. And I was surprised by how tall he was. He later told me he was also surprised by my height, but he gave me a hug. It was nice enough. Tomas came in a little while later, and he had his suitcase, very professional, very nice. The door slams open after a few minutes. Everybody's calmly moving in. Matthew's carrying a box with broken glass. And he just goes, "Guys, I can't talk. I need to find a garbage can for this." So my first introduction of Matthew was, this guy's a total jerk. Was also surprised by the 6 foot factor. That was a nice bonus.
Yeah. I feel heights was a big thing for me too. The video call we did not do justice. I did not know everyone would have such varying heights. But from my point of view, why I was carrying a box of glass was I had a picture frame of all my high school friends, and it broke in the suitcase. So I dumped it out into a box, and I didn't know the layout of Latitude, so I had no idea where to throw away the trash. And yeah, Joe's right. I did barge into the room, ignored literally everyone, and started to just unpack because I was just tired and hungry. And Joe was the first person I bumped into when I found out the glass was in the bag. So naturally, I was like, I have to talk to this person. I have to do an interaction. And my interaction was straight up, "I have a bunch of broken glass in my bag. Please tell me where the trash can is." So wasn't the best, but I feel like even in that case, I feel like that's still a good introduction because it's a memorable introduction. Do you think a memorable introduction is a good one, or?
Yeah, I think so. I've had some introductions to people that I've hoped they've forgotten, and well, they never did.
What's your worst introduction?
I gotta think. You'll have to let me. I need to drop it halfway in the podcast because I gotta rank them.
Rank them? I'm trying. Okay, so wait. I think personally, my worst introduction to someone was a time when I was half asleep, hyped up on sugar, so my brain was firing, but my body was not filtering out what to say. And this girl was talking to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I have 13 siblings." And she's like, "Oh yeah, cool. I have 12 siblings, but they're technically my siblings because my dad remarried." And I was like, sick. And then this little girl runs up to her older sister's like, "Oh, we have to go. Dad's ready to leave." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she introduced me "Oh, this is my sister." And without hesitation, I looked at her and I was like, "Your technical sister or your actual sister?" And then everyone in the group was like, "Matthew, you can't say that. That's too funny. That's not funny."
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
Yeah. Also at the same school. This was at the boarding school I went to. So my family was kind of known there because it was an all-boys boarding school, so a lot of people, my siblings went there, my brothers did. And my favorite interaction was, this was such a bad introduction. So they were having a parents come in, everyone introduces themselves because the first day of school pretty much. And there's this guy who's in front of the cheese table because he's grabbing cheese and crackers. And I was like, "I'm hungry. I'm gonna ask the guy I was like, "Excuse me, can I please grab some?" He's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead." and he turns to the side and sees me, and because my siblings went there, I was kind of like known there, so they were like, "Are you a gay?" And I was like, "What?" And then literally, it felt like a cartoon. Like people were just popping out of nowhere because he turns to like, "Are you a gay?" And the lady to the right of me turns like, "Oh, are you a gay?" And then someone came out from a different room and someone said, "Did someone say gay?" And then like 5 people surrounded me and started asking me questions like, "Oh, how's Jeremy? How's Phil? Like, it's so nice to see you," like, and stuff like that. And I'm like, "Oh, they're doing great. They're like, they have kids. They're doing great." And they're like, "Cool, cool." And they all just like dispersed and walked away. And I was like, I don't think they got my name. I don't think they learned anything about me besides the fact that I was like my last name.
They didn't care, maybe.
Yeah, they were just like, they just want to know how Jeremy was doing.
That's tough.
It was rough. But-
Man, I've had some bad introductions. So Jude and I, gosh, this was a recent one. We went to a film fest,
Mhm.
and Jude and I saw these 2 nice-looking young ladies that we wanted to approach. This was a couple months ago. Jude was wearing a pinstripe jacket. Well, this other blonde girl was wearing also a pinstripe jacket to this film fest event. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'll throw this one out there. So me and Jude walk up, and I'm like, Jude, come on, let's go introduce ourselves. And I go, oh no, you have the same jacket as my friend here, and I can't tell whose I like better. And she was like, what the heck? You can't say that to somebody.
Did not land.
You can't. It did not land at all. But I think it was good.
I don't think it was good. Did Jude laugh?
I laughed.
just you in the corner laughing.
It was so sick. This one time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll let you do one, and then we'll circle back.
I'm kind of. Oh, there was this one time. It was so funny. So in high school, I dated this girl named.
You don't have to name drop her.
I don't have the name drop.
You give her a different name, like Roger.
Yeah, I dated this girl named. I'm gonna give her like a girl's name. I'll give her Bianca. I dated this girl named Bianca, and it was funny because apparently she had a crush on me. Like my friend said, since very early on, since we first met, and it's so funny to think about that because the way we first met has to be like the most like non-romantic way possible. Like I was talking to my friend, and she was like, "Oh, this is my friend Bianca," and I'm like, "Hi Bianca, I'm Matthew. What's your favorite color?" And then did not ask her name, did not ask anything else about her. She was like blue, and I'm like sick. And then proceeded just to turn and talk back to my friend.
Do you know how many guys probably went up to her and didn't even pretend to be interested? You showed some interest there.
She told me all the stories of the guys she's rejected, like before I started dating her, and I was like, "That's wild." She was like, "This guy asked me out on Valentine's Day, and I said no," and I was like, "That's sick, dude." Completely went over my head.
Yeah, you can't win them all, I guess. Well, thinking one of the best introductions I've ever experienced. So we did a quarter in Rome.
Oh, yeah.
I happened to be late to Rome because I was shooting a wedding. So I shot a wedding October 5th, arrived in Rome October 6th. Everybody else had been there for like four days. So I was aura farming. I was getting some good points being late. I end up getting there. It was like 2 p.m. Everyone was gone to class. But that was a fever dream, honestly, until dinner. I don't remember what happened. I was jet lagged.
Mm-hmm.
But at dinner, this blonde girl comes up. A lot of blondes in these stories. And she just goes, "Oh, are you the one that got nicked with autism?" We'll call this girl Julia.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, this is my favorite introduction that's ever happened to me. This is top tier humor. This is hilarious. This is how every guy wants you to introduce yourself. Like, this is fantastic. Like, more of this, please.
It's memorable. You're gonna remember this.
It was. Yeah, that was a great introduction.
I was at work. Okay, so this is like when I first started working at Panda. Just got to California. This guy was gay, so I can say this. He was incredibly zesty.
Yep.
He walks up to me, and he's just like, doesn't introduce himself, doesn't say anything. He says, "What are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm Matthew." And he's like, "No. Like, what are you?" And I was like, oh, like my mom's white and my dad's black. He's like, okay, cool, you're not Mexican. And I'm like, no. And he's like, sick. I think his name's like Julian or something. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
That's crazy.
Immediately start off on the wrong foot with that guy.
Well, here's another great introduction that sort of ties back to another blonde. This kid named Beckett, Jude's younger brother. I went to Jude's house for Thanksgiving first year. I get there, and Beckett's a sneaky guy, right?
Yeah, I met him.
He's kind of laying low. He's getting a vibe check, and we're sitting down at dinner, and he just goes, "You're from Michigan, right? Do they have music in Michigan? What do you listen to?" The rest of the night, he would just be like, "Do they have movies in Michigan?" As if it's like a coal mine with no electricity and sheep.
I mean, we kind of did that to someone that goes here when they're like, oh, I'm from Alaska. And we're like, oh, yeah, everything's 2D down there, right? You guys, it's just snow down there.
That's a classic joke. But Michigan is like middle of the U.S. Like it's...
Oh, yeah, it's pretty well known. I like the state stereotypes where you're just like, oh, you're from California, you're from Chicago. Do you see like gang violence? And I'm like, no, not that much.
Yeah. Now it's going to be, oh, you're from Chicago. Are you related to the new Pope?
Yeah, have you met the Pope? Have you shook his
Yeah.
hand?
Yeah.
For reference, today was the day the new Pope got announced.
Big stuff.
Big stuff's
pretty exciting
happening.
stuff.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Trying to think, what's a good... Have you ever like met someone you had like a terrible introduction with, but then like fixed it up like later on?
The enemies to lovers arc is one that I find myself like frequently, not actually to lovers, but like
Yeah.
just I make a bad introduction. Now I actually think there's a case to be made for this.
Yeah.
Say you're trying to break into a friend group.
Mm-hmm.
You make a terrible introduction. Everybody thinks you're a jerk or like, oh, that guy's an idiot. Well, if you can frame that as being misunderstood, I think that's a big win
Mm-hmm.
because people will like you more if they go from not liking you to liking you even just a little bit. The contrast is going to be insane.
Like the redemption arc, they're like, dude, we hated you, and then you became cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've had so many times where people were like, I hate this guy. He's disrespectful,
Mhm.
terrible sense of humor. And then, well, we click after a couple weeks.
Yeah. There's been several times where someone's like seen me doing like a bit, or like hasn't met me before, but like saw me doing something, and then they'll get to know me like, dude, I thought you were an idiot. I didn't know you were joking the entire time.
It's a solid introduction.
Dude. What?
You go ahead.
I knew this one girl. Sorry, this was in middle school. This new guy comes to our class. This girl, one of my friends starts liking him, and I'm like, this guy seems like a bad. I don't think you should like start dating him. Like seems like he just like gives off the vibe like not being the best guy to date. They date for a little bit. I'm completely against it the entire time. They break up. Like it was like a terrible breakup, and I was like, I'm so sorry that happened. Like I kind of told you so and stuff like that. A week later, I just somehow became like best friends with him. I still don't know how it happened, but it just became super awkward because she was like, I hate this guy. And I'm like, I know. But can we please invite him to watch the new Batman movie?
That's a good one. Trying to think. I encounter this a lot where I don't like someone,
Mm-hmm.
and then after a couple weeks, I'm like, oh, they're all right.
Yeah.
I do enjoy like a sneaky friend where you think like, I'm never going to hang out with this person or have anything in common.
Mm-hmm.
And then just something clicks.
No, yeah, you just like you be like put like into like partners or something, and then you're like, this guy's kind of sick. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, that happens. I think that's a guy thing. That's a guy thing.
I don't. Trying to be like a woman that's done that. No, yeah, I don't have any. None of my friends have told me stories like that.
Yeah, whereas frequently, like, I think if you get forced to do a job together with a guy, you're gonna come out of it like, this guy's all right.
Yeah, this guy's okay. Unless they do like no work, and you're like, I was right about everything I thought about you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the worst. I think the worst introduction I've ever made, not by no fault of my own though,
Yeah.
was to actually one of your family members.
That was not the. Do you want to tell the story?
So I don't actually remember the story, which I think is part of the problem.
Which one are you talking? You've made enemies with two of my siblings, and you've only met one of them, which is the wild thing.
Which
Sarah does
no,
not
I met
like.
two. I met
Oh,
Jacob.
you did meet Jacob. You did meet
Yeah.
Jacob. Jacob thinks you're chill. Sarah and Sophia, nah, they do not mess with Joe.
Really?
Yeah,
That's too bad.
Sophia has a reason. Sarah, they thought you felt snobby when you were like. Do you guys even watch movies or something? You said something like along that line.
Oh well. See, this is my problem. I have like a dry tone,
Mm-hmm.
so then people think I'm a jerk.
Yeah, I have a similar problem.
Yeah.
Um,
But it works like once people know it, it works so well. Like
Yeah.
it's gotten me out of so many situations where I would have otherwise, like if you always have the dry tone and then you say something where you're actually being a jerk
yeah,
and it's actually off color, people are like, "Oh, Joe's joking."
he's a kidder.
Yeah.
Nah,
perfect.
You met it. Also for context, so Joe had to stop at my house because he had a layover and his flight got delayed. When he was there,
Got to stay at your house.
yeah,
I'd say.
he got blessed by staying at my house. While he was there, though, we were just catching up over I think it was winter break, and I was telling him about my sister who recently broke up with someone, and we talked about it for a little bit. Then the next morning, we were talking next to my sister's door, and she woke up and walked outside to "Hey guys, can you guys be quiet?"
She didn't say that. It was so disrespectful to my
she
friend
said,
Matthew.
She said your voices are annoying me and it's hard to for me to focus and stuff like that.
I was just like, look, I've spent pretty much the past year and a half with this Matthew guy.
I went to
He's
Rome
all right.
with this guy.
Like I've gone international with him. Vienna, Rome. What other state? Have we gone out of state?
We've
at
gone
all?
out of state. Florida. Oh, you want to throw me in Florida?
No. But the point being, I hold this Matthew guy in a high regard. So I see this little sibling come out and start disrespecting him. I'm like, this is not classic. This shouldn't be happening. So I don't even remember what I said. This is part of my problem. But
You said, I know you're going through a lot. And then after you said that, Sophia immediately realized I told her she broke up recently.
yeah,
So she's more mad at me, but also at you for some reason. She did hit you for Zinger asking how tall you were, and then immediately apologized and ran into her room. But yeah, I'm trying to think I think my favorite introduction has to be my favorite introduction because of how it ended. So this is gonna be back in middle school where I had a lot of just banger introductions for some reason. Really fell off in high school, but I was invited to my friend's birthday party, and I met their dad. Their dad, I love their family so much. Their family loves me and my brother Jacob so much. But I met their dad, and he made a joke saying "Oh, since you guys are here for the day, you have to pay for rent, $5 for each of you." Or he just said I think he just said you have to pay for rent. I don't think he gave a price. But it was so funny because I was a little kid, and I was "Are you serious?" And he's like, "No, I'm joking." But at 8th grade graduation from middle school, he was there to pick up my friend, and I walk up to him and I'm like, "How you doing, sir?" And I shake his hand, and I slipped $5 into his hand, and he was like, "I can't take this." I'm like, "You have to take this. I'm paying for when. I owe you one." And then for the rest of the school, there was a week left of school. The goal's mom kept chasing me down and trying to give me back the $5.
that's the move, dude. That's too good.
It was a power. It was even funnier because I bumped back into them in high school because their other daughter went to the high school I went to, and I was walking with my two other friends who went to my middle school, and they saw me and they're like, "Hi Matthew, how you doing?" And we caught up for a little bit and we walked away, and then my two friends looked at me and they're like, "Why didn't they say hi to us? We were also friends with so and so."
I live for stuff like that where you just buy an infinite amount of goodwill with a family because of one tiny action.
Yeah.
What were you gonna even spend the $5 on?
I don't know.
A Cinnabon from a vending machine? That's what I would have spent it on.
That's true. That's true.
How much better of an investment is it to slip it? Yeah, it's so good.
Just give it to them. It's something small. They're gonna appreciate, and they're gonna remember that.
It means so much, especially because they're no, but it probably took them a long time to earn this money. It didn't.
Nah, it didn't.
I stole it.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh, other introductions.
I think this might be my absolute worst one that I can think of at the moment. But so me and my brother Jacob started work for my uncle when we were younger, and my uncle was introducing us because he took all my siblings like would walk with them and do construction. So he's like, oh, when you guys meet people, say like, oh, well, Matthew and Jacob were like we're the last batch, or we're the fifth batch. So we were helping this guy move out, and he had like long stairs going up to his house, and they were it was a very narrow staircase, and we were helping him move an ottoman down the staircase that like took up the entire staircase. And my uncle and the guy were at the bottom, like with the door open, which had like a door frame that would just like pretty much block the outside. And my brother and Jacob were at the top of the stairs, and we were both little kids, and Jacob was holding from the bottom, I was holding from the top, and I was like, Jacob, I can't hold it anymore, I gotta let go. And he's like, Matthew, do not let go, Matthew, just keep going, do not let go. Like, I'm letting go. And I hear from the bottom of the stairs before I drop it, like, yeah, these are Matthew and Jacob, they're the final batch, like, I'm really looking forward to walking with these guys. And then I drop the ottoman, it runs over my brother because it's like such a narrow staircase, and then goes sliding down the stairs and just like hits the door frame where my uncle's standing, and he's like standing on the opposite side, and he just looks up and just sees my brother Jacob sprawled out on the staircase, and me just standing there like looking in shock. And he turns back to the guy, he's like, this might be their last night walking to me, to be honest. They're not the best employees. Luckily we had way more shifts, and it was like an amazing time spending with my uncle, just like helping with construction and everything. But yeah, not the best forced walk day. I would have been fired.
What other introductions? I'm trying to think. I often think that introductions that you don't remember are also good.
Mm.
So apparently I met my best friend Tommy like at a baptism
Yeah.
when we were both toddlers. And there's a photo floating around somewhere of us interacting. But it's just nice, like, it's almost better because you can imagine it to have been a perfect toddler introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that one for sure holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah. To build off of that, I posted something on my Instagram to like trying to jog my memory for like introductions. And one girl from my track team, who I think she was like a sophomore or freshman when I started like coaching in track, she texted me and she was like, our first interaction was really great because I saw you just at the pole vault stand, like cheering everybody up and like leading everyone, like making everyone like, have like a good time. And it's so funny because like I remember like talking to her like a bunch afterwards because like she was like super chill, but like I don't remember like the interaction. But it's like so nice just hearing that like it meant so much to them when I first showed up in their life. And I do agree with you, like even like ones you don't remember are still like great because like apparently they had effect enough for someone else to remember them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about some of the introductions I've had that have touched people.
I went over my introduction to you. It was a pretty chill one.
Yeah, I love to hear the bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
I had an introduction from. So here's an interesting introduction. Our friend Connor and I, we got paired up in an acting class. And
yeah.
Do you need another bubbly?
No, mine's good. I'm good.
It was an exercise where you had to like. It's kind of messed up actually. You have to just answer a bunch of like, not intimate questions, but like personal questions about your life and like disappointing moments or like hopes and dreams. So you're kind of this is what we're talking about. You're going to become friends with this person pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you're both honestly sharing this stuff. And I'd seen Connor around and I was like, who is this guy with a beard at our school? What is this guy doing? I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know he was a film major. I was like, who is this guy? We met and had that introduction, went super well, realized we had more in common than I thought. And I was like, dude, why didn't we ever like talk earlier? And I'm pretty sure he said, well, I thought you were going to be a jerk.
Yeah,
that's one I've gotten a lot. People just think I'm going to be a jerk.
Yeah. There was this girl that I met, once again, middle school. I don't know why all the middle school ones are just like top tier for some reason. There was this girl I met, and she was like the most like nice person ever. And we did not talk for like the first few weeks she showed up, because she like showed up like halfway through the school year. And I asked her, like, I think after we started becoming friends, like, why didn't we talk when we first got here? And she looked me dead in the face and she's like, I thought you were going to shove me into a locker and bully me for the rest of my life, so I just did not want to interact with you.
That's got to be racially motivated, dude. You wear yellow.
Like yeah.
Anybody that thinks you're
that was during that's my first red jacket actually.
this guy wears the brightest colors I've ever seen.
Yeah, the only
The most
primary
colors.
colors. never grays, never blacks.
He doesn't look like a bully.
But it was so funny because I was like, oh, what changed? I was like, she said, you walked up to me, said, what's your favorite color? And I was like, this guy's not gonna do anything to me.
It's disarming.
Yeah.
I like it. You ever see the you can't be threatening holding a latte?
I have not seen that.
That's one that I feel like I need to balance myself out.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I have introductions where I'm holding a latte, it's a lot better.
Yeah. I remember in middle school, I don't know why this is coming back. This one guy said, you can't be mad and say bubbles at the same time. And I was like, I can't prove you wrong right now because I'm not mad, but yeah. I'm not going to be mad and then immediately just be like, bubbles.
That guy's a freak.
He's a bit of a, I think, yeah, we met because he challenged me to, what's that one thing with the pole and the ball that goes around?
Oh, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was my bread and butter as a kid.
It's not wiffle ball, is it? No, wiffle ball's something else.
It's on the pole, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what it's called.
Speaking of wiffle ball, I went to this camp over the summer, and I was in the lake, and this girl swam up to me, and she was like, can I smack you? As I was like, there's no shot this complete stranger is going to smack me, so I agreed to it, and she smacked me. And then for the rest of the camp time, that just became our thing, where I would call her out for it, and then she would just smack me again. I don't know how she's doing now. I don't know what her name is, because she tried putting her actual name down on my camp show when everyone was leaving. And I was like, no. Put the smacking goal. And she was like, okay.
Gosh, damn it. Those mysteries need to get resolved.
I hope she's in a better place now. I hope she's doing great.
I think one thing that women don't realize a lot of the time is that guys will take a lot of abuse. Well, certain guys.
Yeah.
From girls in middle school. I remember this one girl who was on the soccer league when I was a pipsqueak in 6th or 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up moving away to Maine. But before she did that, she would kick me in the shins so hard. And this was my issue. I would make a sarcastic joke. I would have a dry tone. Or I was a little bit meaner back then, so I might have actually said something mean.
Yeah.
Get kicked in the shins. We're flirting, we're having a good time. And just bang! Ow! That hurts.
Just rinse and repeat.
And that was a lot.
Yeah.
But it kept happening. And you're almost like, when you're in 7th grade, you're almost like, oh, shoot, is it going to happen again today? Wait, is this a good thing?
Are we friends?
Sign?
Yeah.
I think she likes me. She for sure likes me.
Yeah.
What was sick was her name could be spelled on a calculator. And we sat right next to each other, right in the front row of our science class.
Mm-hmm.
But you sit in the same desk all day.
Yeah.
So we were spending 8 hours a day together in close proximity. And I think I had a dandruff problem back then because I always remember there being a couple of white flakes on the desk. So that wasn't a great introduction to her, but I would love to hear her side now because I'm still wondering what the shin kicking meant.
It was probably floating, I'm assuming. I feel like middle school people.
Because she kind of smirk afterwards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it was an imperceptible Mona Lisa smirk.
Yeah, a small thing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot in middle school, the main way of floating, at least at my spot was just I am going to beat the crap out of this guy, so he has to pay attention to me.
Yeah, because it was oh, you're a man, you can take the shin kicking.
Yeah. It still hurts,
No,
guys.
it freaking hurt, guys.
If you do it every day.
It hurt. Gosh, what other introductions? I've had some really autistic ones. I'm just trying to think of them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another topic to branch off of, because we can't have good bad introductions that turn out to be good later on. Good introductions that I hate when that happens. When someone is really good at meeting people, and you talk to them for 2 seconds, oh, this guy is the worst.
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple times.
I met this one girl high school this time. We're moving up, guys. Super chill, super nice. Like a little weird, but I was like, okay, that's whatever. And I was talking to my friends, like, oh yeah, I'm talking to this one girl named so and so. The entire group gets silent, and they're like, yeah, she's really weird. I don't think you should talk to her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She seemed pretty chill when I was talking to her. And we would go to like a private school, so we have to like wear a uniform every day. But this was the one dress down day we had for like the first starting weeks. And I was just like, I don't know what she was talking about. She seems pretty normal, like, but whatever. And like, this was like perfect comedic timing because I turned around and she's walking down the halls wearing this giant black gown, black makeup, black nails, like just like head to toe, like has a black veil on. And I look back at my friends, I look back at her, and I'm like, I've made a grave mistake, but I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong. So I walked up to the girl and I was like, hey, bud, what are we wearing right now?
That's sick.
Yeah, she turned out to be a pagan rich. And I sent her song lyrics. It was a weird song. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Mariner's Revenge. Very weird song. I sent her the lyrics. I was like, oh, this is right up her alley. And she thought I was casting a spell on her. And she was like, oh, I'll cast a counter spell. And I'm like, dog.
The broken glass introduction. That one took a couple years to pay off.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. It probably did cause the broken glass. But no, yeah, we've had so many weird interactions. Like, I guess we're not really we don't really talk that much anymore. Because like after that, I was like, I don't know if I want to stay friends with you like out of high school, even in high school. But yeah. She was interesting. Great introduction, and then just terrible afterwards.
Dude, I've got one. Oh my gosh, this was maybe the most autistic one.
Mm-hmm.
So our roommates, Jude and Tomas, would always talk about this teacher that they really liked who went to their church.
Oh, I forgot about this. One's a good one.
In Pasadena. And this was over Thanksgiving too, I think. Jude had like introduced me to so many people, and it was tough meeting LA people as a Michigander for the first time. I think I lost my accent that I had from being from the Midwest, like over this past year or so, but it was pretty strong back then. So I'd meet people and I'd be like, hey, how's it going? I'm Joel from Michigan. Not that drastic, but
yeah, it was pretty noticeable when you first got here, yeah.
And like I was so tired because I'd met so many people over this weekend, Thanksgiving at Jude's house.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, there's this guy in like a goofy, like some teacher tie, that style where it's just like a fun tie and like regular suit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? And I shook his hand first. They're like, Joe, you should look who it is. And I'm like, hey, I'm Joe, I'm mute. This guy gave me the most blank stare. And then I was like, I'm kidding. And he's like, I can see that. Top 10, maybe top 3 worst introductions in my life. Terrible.
Not a good one.
But not as bad as the introductions that never happened.
Oh, yeah.
You ever see a girl and think I should go talk to her?
Yeah, I feel like there's been more times I've like said to myself, I'm glad I did, like, so there's less times I said I'm glad I didn't talk to that person, but the times I've like, I'm glad I did, which is hard to like count, I guess, but there have been people I've like seen, I'm like, I should talk to this person, never do, and I'll see them in the hall and people will talk about them like, this guy's really chill, and I'm like, oh, I should have taken my chance that one time.
Yeah.
There was this one kid in my high school, I'm just gonna call him like Gus or something, but it was so funny, because we both had this like weird, like, we both never talked, like kept seeing each other. And then one day we like met up in track because he joined track that year. And we just hit it off. And it was so funny because the entire, like, there was so much just regret between us because we're like, this guy's so chill and so funny. Why did we not talk for the last 3 years? I saw him over Easter. He seems like he's doing good. But no, yeah, it was just like amazing. We had the same exact thought of like, why did we never talk before? And both of us were like, we just didn't think we would like mix well together.
I think there's something to that though. Like the tension builds.
Yeah.
Like you notice the person and you're like, oh, I don't talk to that guy. Like as soon as you talk, the tension is gonna break.
Mm. He's doing good. I hope he's doing okay. also, I feel like the more I move towards college, the more I realize I talk to more people if they give me food, which it makes me sound like I'm a fat guy. I kind of am like a bit of a fatty, but there was this one girl who I was like meaning to talk to the entire time at high school, and it was so funny because I did not get to like talk to her until one day we were both at track. We were waiting for our next events to happen, and she walked up to me and she's like, "Can we get a snow cone?" And I was like, and I'm like, I don't think I can because I have like a 4x4, but like, yeah, there's a snow cone thing over there. And she's just like, can you come with me? So if the coach yells at us, he yells at both of us. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. And then she went to introduce me to her friend, and now we're best friends. I'm not gonna say her name, but I'm just gonna give it another name, like Gretchen.
Worst name ever.
Worst name ever. It's
Sorry to all the
Gretchens
listening.
out there. Hopefully, no Gretchens are listening. But it's really funny because Gretchen will just call me randomly, and she's like one of the like few high school people that reaches out to me. But it's also for like the most like random drama that I have no idea what's happening. She literally called me last night, and she was like, "Matthew, my situationships have met each other. They went to completely different frats. They should not know each other. I don't know how I came up in the conversation, but like, they know me. They know me somehow. I don't know what to do, but I'm just like invested in the lore now."
That's really something.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you've met that you're like, I wish I met? If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Sooner?
Like, yeah, I met sooner.
Well, let's say this. There was our friend JP. That was one where I would see him in the school, and I was like, oh, this guy is going to be a jerk. Like, this guy is going to force me to drink underage or something. Like, I thought he was going to be a real troublemaker.
Yeah.
Bad influence. Didn't meet him until my friend Evan Haidu, shout out to Evan Haidu, set me up with him. And then just had a Beatrician moment where I realized, like, oh, this guy's all right.
Really quick, do you want to explain what a Beatrician moment is?
Yeah, so in Dante's Inferno, the Dante Alighieri, the author, I think he saw this lady named Beatrice when he was 9. And this was his, like, Beatrician moment. Like, his life was changed from here on out. A transformative moment. Sounds like I'm reading this from
Yes, yeah. This is straight off the cuff, by the way.
A transformative moment for somebody with like a threshold. So that like JP and I had this Beatrician moment in the gym where I just said something to him and it like he instantly got it. It clicked. So that was great.
Yeah. My unfortunate interaction with JP was kind of different because our friend Josh told our past roommate Tomas that JP hangs out with people he thinks are like losers. So Tomas was talking to me like, I went golfing with JP, and I'm like, oh no, he thinks we're losers. And I walked out of my room while like studying for a test, and he was like there playing guitar with Tomas, and I'm like, no, I can't talk because he's gonna think I'm a lame-o. So naturally, for some reason, I just started complaining about studying. I was like, I hate studying here because like no matter if I study or not, like I'm still gonna get an A. So like I don't know what the point is. And JP's like, yeah, you're kind of right. And I'm like, dang it, this guy's so cool. Then I just went out and just like started talking to them as they played guitar.
I like how hating school still stays cool.
Oh yeah.
Is that our timer?
That is our timer.
Do you want to end it, or do you feel like you have more to say?
I feel like I don't have much to say. I feel like for like the podcast though, I do want to end it off on like a similar thing. Do you have any like final notes you want to bring up, or?
I'm trying to think if there's one banger of an introduction that I can think of.
I'm gonna just kind of sum it up a bit, and then you can like think of the banger if it comes to you. But okay, I feel like introductions are gonna be either bad or good. There's no like lukewarm introduction, because a lukewarm introduction is just a bad one because it's forgettable. But I do feel like it's interesting just to look back and be like, how did we meet this person? Was it a good one? Was it a bad one? How did it change? And always just to like, if you know you're not gonna see someone for a while, always end on a banger. Always end on like an inside joke or just something between you two, so you know like it was a good time, it was a good adventure. And then if there's someone you see in the hall and you're like, this guy seems really cool, never talked to him though, give it a shot. Say hi, stop by. Just get yourself out there, because you never know where it'll lead. Maybe a podcast. Maybe you end up on Gay Time.
Nice.
Nice.
Sounds good. I have one introduction that I just thought of that happened to both me and Matthew.
Oh, I mean,
We went to get coffee one random Saturday morning. We were just walking. Matthew and I, for some reason, just give off very friendly vibes.
yeah, that is true. Yeah.
We've talked about why it is. I think it's because people can immediately see that I'm not racist and he doesn't hate short people. So we walked through this park that is on the way to our campus. This lady in an orange vest and orange hat is like picking up garbage or something. She just looks at us. I don't even remember how we started off the conversation, but she was just asking. She's like, "Oh, are you like, where are you guys from?" Matthew said Chicago. I said Michigan. I think she was from the Midwest, probably Chicago or somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And she was just like, "I bet you guys miss your grandma. Do you want a hug?"
I remember her so
Do you
much.
remember that, dude?
Yes.
It was sick.
She went over how she was like no, she saw my Final Four jacket and asked if I like was coaching for the basketball
That's right.
team.
Yeah.
No, she was such a nice lady. Yeah. I hope she's doing okay.
Sweet angel. Yeah. Pray for her.
Um,
But that was a 10 out of 10 introduction.
that was yeah.
Yes, I do miss my grandma.
Yes,
I do
needed,
want a hug.
I needed that hug.
Yeah.
That was funny because I remember because we were definitely ranting about like something, and this lady definitely just like walked over and was like, "You guys need
These
this."
guys, dude, she was like JP. She thought we were losers.
She was like, "These guys don't." Yeah.
Well, that's one heck of a way to end the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, Joe. But yeah.